to Culture Cast Talk Show Edition. Today we're going to be talking about Anna in the Tropics and just kind of giving our input of what we thought of Nilo Cruz's play overall. So, ladies, we read it. We loved it.
Loved it.
We loved it. All right, group consensus. Loved. 10 out of 10.
Definitely.
So, if we just look at the different things that were going on, I guess we should chime everyone in of what happened to our poor characters in this play. All right, so let's see here. All right, we're gonna get into Chiche.
Don't let me talk about it.
Chiche and Marella. We're gonna start there. Now, for everyone at home, Chiche and Marella are not our main characters, but they propel our plot forward, if you could say that. Marella is just an innocent little girl throughout the entire play who's just trying to find innocence in herself and in the world. But Chiche seems to be really
aggressive.
Yes, aggressive to say the least. Now, we can see that he's very in love with the idea of like urbanizing the cigar factory that they all work at in Ybor City.
Well, everyone else is kind of
interested in the money, definitely.
Yes,
I would agree.
And he wants to take over the factory.
And power.
Yes, but he can't take over the factory because the factory is owned by his brother, Santiago, who runs it.
He does think he owns it, but
he acts like he owns it, and everyone else is just like, you know what, Chiche? You don't. No one takes him seriously.
No one does.
He's a big threat that no one seems to actually recognize throughout the play.
Definitely.
And he recognizes threat right away once Juan Julian makes an appearance.
Oh yeah.
He's my favorite character.
Juan Julian?
Yes.
Definitely a babe.
Oh, yeah. He's just so sweet.
The sweetest.
He's so sweet.
He has this way of talking.
The way he reads.
I need a man like that.
Don't we all?
Oh, of course. So we look at Juan Julian, who steals poor Conchita's heart, who's married to Palomo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can you believe
That's
that?
It's so terrible.
Now, Palomo's cheated on Conchita before, of
Yes,
course.
and the Anna kind of book made her realize this.
Yes, she saw that, well, if my husband's cheated, why can't I? Am I right?
Yeah.
Of course.
always the double standard.
Double standard, of course. So we see that Conchita and Juan Julian start a rendezvous together, and Palomo's not a fan of that. He actually starts to side with Chiche about things going on in the factory. And Santiago and his wife Ophelia just seem to kind of step back and don't really care about it. They have more conflict with each other than they care about.
Yeah, because Santiago has that gambling problem.
Oh, yeah, of course. So we see the factory start to kind of shift from this very traditional rolling factory to when Chiche brings this machine in to become an urbanized factory. And instead of taking hold of this urbanization that's very common during this time period,
They all just laugh at
they laugh at it. And they're like, well, why would we give up what we're used to?
Yeah.
So we see this shift in different ideas of what the culture expects.
They're definitely afraid of change, you can tell right away.
Yeah, and instead of focusing on that change, they go and they're like, we'll make a new cigar brand. And they have this Anna Karenina cigar, which Marella comes out and gets to act out. And we see Chiche feels rejected once again. He's had his wife leave him, which I can't blame her. And then he has his machine rejected. And when he makes advances towards his own niece, Marella,
Rejected again.
she obviously rejects him. This big spoiler that we will mention is the very end of the play. We see that Palomo and Conchita aren't really sure if they can save their marriage or not. And the one thing that's really in their way is Juan Julian. Now, Chiche, you would expect Palomo to come out and have this conflict with Juan Julian, but Chiche's been undermined so many times.
It's just all built up.
It's almost like he blames him for everything.
Yes.
And it's not his fault, but he needs to find that one thing that's the cause of everything.
Yes, and his clear resolution is no longer talking, no longer reading, but is, in turn, violence. And we see at the very end of the play, towards the end, we see Juan Julian is shot. But getting into the play itself and the playwright, now we can obviously tell that the culture isn't, well, of course it isn't my culture that I'm used to, but reading into reading in the play, I kind of feel like I'm becoming a part
Yeah,
of
it
this.
was
A part of
very,
this culture. It's almost like a
yeah,
family.
it jumps at you and you're just like, oh, I feel like I'm a part of it.
Yes,
It's
the
very
way that they
cool. The way you
interact
read it,
and the way that they kind of
you can just learn through the culture even just by reading the
exactly. Because I don't know about you, but the scene where they're all drinking and they're having fun, I completely was like, I'm right there.
Cheers, everybody.
But when it came to the cigar rolling and the actual work, they just seemed so proud of what they were doing.
They did.
And they had this idea that cigar rolling was entail a part of their culture.
Which is why they didn't want to have the machine, because they were like, no, we cannot do that.
So
Be the same.
the play itself is in Tampa, in Ybor City, which culturally and historically, if we look at, is one of the cigar capitals of the world during the 1920s.
Yeah.
Specifically, in this case, 1929.
Yeah.
And we see that the factory itself in the play mimics the Great Depression struggles that everyone in America were facing at that time. And the idea of needing to urbanize in order to keep up and not get kind of drowned out by the Great Depression. But do you think if you were the owners of the factory, would you go with that urbanization to save the factory from the Great Depression? Or would you hold on to that family quality to stand out?
It's something hard that they obviously had to think about, but I wouldn't shut the chance out that quickly, because it's something you're going to need to do in the end, because you need to
But I guess at the time,
fight to survive.
why they vetoed it was because people would lose their jobs.
No,
Yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
That was
Salaries
the
would
thing.
go down.
They were
and
friends
everything.
with everyone.
Yeah, so they didn't want
Yes.
to do that. And
Yes,
It's
and
such a family, which is like part of their culture.
yes, and if you look at pictures from time periods of cigar factories, they went to work dressed nice.
Yeah.
Like they were sweating in these factories, and they dressed so nice.
It says it in the costumes and the description that everyone was very well dressed.
Yes.
It just seems like it is a part of like their culture, which is sad, but
yes.
you know.
Well, if we look at the culture of the Cuban immigration, and they brought their own culture to Tampa, which gives you that cigar factory feel, that family atmosphere. Nilo Cruz actually has a background in that. He knew what he was writing about.
He definitely knew.
So, Nilo Cruz, being a Cuban-American playwright, definitely had his own experiences kind of influence that aspect of it.
100%.
Now, he wasn't expecting for this play to take off.
Not at all.
He actually, there was a quote I was reading that he read that he had won the Pulitzer Prize, and he went to the store and he saw a play sitting up that had in past years won the prize, and he was like, I would never even equate myself to being to that standard. And he was such a modest man, but his work is just so honest.
It is.
It's very honest. Because I don't know about you, but did you feel like you understood Cuban American culture
I did.
more
Because
now?
I feel
The way
like
it was
because he
written,
had
I-
background, it was so much easier to
It was definitely
feel.
personal, and you could feel it. Obviously,
Yes.
as
It
you read
definitely.
Because you could see from the classic just American family of being born and raised here, not immigrating from somewhere else, we have a very modern idea that the family isn't as important as the work. But here in the Cuban American culture, they're almost one and the same. Work and family. Work is just a matter of putting your family together.
Yeah,
the family is where you have that power.
Because in America, we separate that. It's like work is here and then family is
Yes,
here.
but they celebrate one another, and they celebrate even with all of the different obstacles.
Refreshing.
I know, because they have cheating. They have all the cheating instances occurring, the gambling with Santiago, the outsider of Juan Julian, and regardless of all these different, I guess you would say, hurdles, they still, at the end of the day, in Act 2, at that celebration, they're still family.
Yeah.
They still have Chiche, who is, as much as he's been rejected and put down, they still have him there, part of the celebration of the cigar.
Like the family itself don't reject him.
Yes, when they pass around the cigar, they almost respect him because they give him that chance to take the first hints of that cigar, which is
I really enjoyed how he incorporated the American culture in it.
Yes. You could see that they were Americanized.
He took into consideration our time period during this, and it was just very brilliant.
He deserved that Pulitzer Prize.